Kev Carmody, welcome to Australian Musician.
Well, thanks for having us, Greg. Yes.
I'm very honoured that I'm your first ever Zoom interview.
With all the troubles, my friend. Yes, yes. Okay, we're the first. At my age, it's a great achievement.
Yeah, it's been a funny old year, Kev, with this coronavirus. How have you been handling the isolation and the lockdown and everything?
Well, Greg, look, the thing is that we sort of live in the bush, so we're self-isolated all the time.
Yeah,
it's just a distance away from grandkids and sons and that sort of stuff and daughters. And but you know, you poor fellas that are in the city, or you know, people that are in the urban areas or the little towns, it's really I don't know, it's a whole new different way of approaching life, isn't it? Really,
yeah,
like there's a massive change, isn't there?
yeah.
A lockdown.
Yeah, so we're talking today, Kev, because they're re-releasing the "Cannot Buy My Soul" tribute album with some extra tracks. Before
Right.
we talk about that, do you remember the first crack at ever writing a song?
Oh, look, what used to happen, I suppose, I never went to school till I was 10, right? So I was virtually illiterate. But in the 1960s, mid 1960s, when I left school, I was helping mum and dad and that droving, and of course you had a fair bit of time on your hands of a night time, just you know, looking after cattle and stuff. But it was so sort of mundane that I'd come up with ideas, like looking at the night sky, Greg, just feeling the wind. We never had swags or nothing. We just had a lump of canvas and two old army blankets. That was it. No bloody, you know, no sponge flaming mattress or anything even. So you'd be looking up the night sky, smell of the smoke from the fire and stuff. And I'd just get an old cardboard packet, you know, off a cereal packet or something, and just write some words down. Like one that I've actually recorded was called "I've Been Moved," and that was written on the basis of it was just written on things that moved my spirit, like not my bowels, but moved my spirit. Just looking at that eternity above you, the massiveness of the cosmos, and saying, well, I've been moved by the wind upon the waters, you know, the little ripples and the shadows as the leaves were blown, you know. Or, you know, my son, our oldest son was just born then, or I've been moved by the crying of the newborn. Whether it be a newborn Homo sapien like our son, or on the droving camp, a little calf born. And then there's another old song there too, from the 1960s, and they were 3-chord strums. You know, the best music, Greg, the best music. It's 3 chords and a decent lyrics. Have a look at like Hank Williams, like Woody Guthrie. You know, it's just Woody Ledbetter, although he was a bloody good guitar player too. Well, so they're all good guitar players, but it's just that you know, simplicity of saying like this is something I just want to put down. And in the oral tradition, it can be carried from one person to another without being a university lecturer.
Yeah, Moonstruck is one of my favourite songs from the album. That sounds like one of those times when you're just looking up at the sky. So tell me about writing that song.
Well, that actually came about in about 40 minutes. It was it was. I had the basis in my head about the beauty of the moon, the moonlight in the bush, the moonlight in the scrub when you're walking through. And especially walking towards the moonset, which is the west. Everybody sees the moon coming up in the east, but when you're walking towards that moonset in the morning time, like when you're catching horses or something like that, you know, before sunup, well before sunup, it actually came about when we were doing the soundtrack. Mairead Hannon, the Hannon sisters, and Paul Kelly and myself for a film called One Night the Moon. And it was about an old tracker, and it's a true story in New South Wales who a little child got lost on the night of the full moon, and the father was racist and wouldn't allow the old black tracker onto the farm or the property. And of course, the damn they sent search parties out and everything, and they never found it. But the old tracker reckons that he knew where she was, and anyway, he reckons like the child would have followed the light of the moon. That means she would have went to the west, and they're all bloody searching over here in the east and everywhere else. So he took the mother back. The mother came back years and years later, and he took the mother to the child's remains. It's a true story, and if you ever watch A Person of a Night Time, I've seen it happen too. When people get lost, we helped a couple of times in the 1950s. When I was a kid, if a person's got a lantern in the left hand, you watch their tracks. They'll go towards where they were holding the lantern. When they change hands, they'll go back the other way. That's when they're lost, because for some reason the human brain or whatever follows or cerebral cortex follows the bloody light. But anyway, that's how the song was. It was about that we were writing the soundtrack for the One Night the Moon, and they just wanted a song, and I'd already started this years ago, and I thought, well, it just had this little guitar riff that was, it was a very basic little riff, but it just, I don't know, it just sort of fitted the lyrics that I was going to do. So that it was done for that film One Night the Moon.
Yeah, Sarah Storer does a great version of the song.
Oh God!
Tribute.
That's it. Great goodness me! It doesn't she just lift it? I mean, that's the other thing about all these compilations and everything. I had nothing to do with them. I've had nothing to do with this last one. This is all Sian, Paulie Kelly's partner, Sian Darling and Paul. But like that reinterpretation of it and that beauty of how she lifts that song, it becomes hers. It's not Kev Carmody's. It becomes ours. If you do one, Greg, it becomes ours. It's part of the oral tradition. Goodness me. Forget about making money or whatever. Just let's bloody do it.
Yourself and Archie Roach are like the wise uncles of Australian music.
Oh God!
What did it mean? What did it mean to you for Archie to record the song "Cannot Buy My Soul"?
Oh God! And he's redone it. He's redone it with oh God! Like that voice is so lived in. Like it's just amazing. Him and Gomeril, and that's angelic. It's such a lived-in voice. But for Archie to do that, like it, because they took the children away, Greg. Like I first heard that in a tiny little garret bloody house in Everleigh Street in Redfern, way back, right? And it was Mick Bales's bloody house, and I shouldn't, gotta stop swearing. But it was Mick's house, and this fella come in, and we were singing songs with guitar. Passed the guitar to this bloke, and he started to sing this song. They took the children away, and holy bloody hell, he only got 2 verses in it. He said, "Just hang on, Archie, just hang on." And Mick, whose uncle or whose brother used to run the Radio Redfern, I said, "Go and get a bloody recorder of some sort." And he come up with a little pink transistor radio thing with a cassette bloody player, a little pink thing. Put it on the mantelpiece in one of these tiny little beat-up houses in Everleigh Street, Redfern, and we recorded it, and it was on bloody Radio Redfern the next day. But Archie sang it into this little thing, tiny. Oh look, and just that context of where I heard it first, like in Redfern, and then hearing it with that bloody angelic voice, it just blew me away. And then him coupled with Ruby, of course, the women's angle of they're the sort of the yin, the yang, the gender business of our culture.
Yeah, with this new tribute, there are some new up and coming artists. Alice
They've
Skye,
already come.
Alice Skye, Electric Fields, Moju. How do you see the future of Australian music with artists like that coming through, particularly the Indigenous artists?
Oh God, Electric Fields too. And they make the video clips. See, Greg, I purposely didn't make video clips. I never did it because I just said, look, that's for other people, because I knew my stuff wasn't commercial or anything. So what's the use of putting all the baubles and sparkles on it and jumping around with a bloody guitar, stuff that. But with these younger ones, I mean, Courtney Barnett has just, done that gorgeous song Just For You, sitting on her bed with her old Kelpie dog. Now, that's the minimalist thing where her presentation's phenomenal. Then look at Alice Skye. She's just sent her video through. The young ones are really good at doing the videos. But, it's not all that flaming, glamour stuff with the glitter and the bloody, the words are, and their presentation is the main thing. I really, really was so proud of those two young women, Courtney and Alice, so far. But, you look at Electric Fields, imagine what's going to happen when their video comes out. They reinterpret it. Again, it becomes passed on to the next generation. As you know, the best songwriters that we've ever heard is Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous.
Yeah.
Where, like, have a look at the Irish culture, over hundreds of years. Have a look at the Jewish culture. Over hundreds of years, it gets polished and updated.
How do you know when one of your songs is finished, Kev? Is it easy? Is it easy for you to let it go?
Well, song-wise, oh geez, and that's Greg. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Once I bloody record the song, that's the finish of it. I don't want to hear about it again, because once you've mixed it and you're bored with, that's it. I've had it. I'm going on to the next one. And like that's the best part of like having my friend who's the sound engineer, Andy Wilmot. He set up a little tiny studio in a huge old big disused fruit packing shed, about 20 odd minutes away from here in the bush. And Andy used to mix for a lot of the bands in Melbourne until he got this disease in his spine and it bent him over a bit. So he couldn't travel with them. But what he did was inside he set this little studio up, but all around the walls he used to collect all the posters of the bands like Hoodoo Gurus and Midnight Oil and bloody whatever that he was mixing the bands mixing for. And like Bob Dylan, and they're all up on the wall, these huge big posters. So when Paul Kelly walks in, or Jim Magini from the Oils, they can see themselves up on the wall. But it's great. Him and I every Thursday, he works, but we do about 3 hours over in his little studio. And what I'm doing now is the concept of I don't want to do stuff in 4/4 timing. I don't want to do it in 3/4 timing. I want to do it in 9/8. I want to do it in 7/8. I want to have different timings because Andy is a drummer and he's a really good drummer. So we put down the rhythm section, and then I put like a bit out of the ordinary key sets on the guitar. So we're doing minor sevenths, minor ninths, or sevenths, major sevenths and stuff. And that's a work in progress. The words come to me fairly easy. Like I've just done a stuff with the Oils that contributed to their stuff. You know about them fellas? There's a thing coming out. Oh, look out. Shh. No, I'm not giving stuff away, am I? And I can see behind your head, Greg, there's a guitar there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a what? I just can't see what brand it is.
It's a Maton Master Sound.
Oh, geez. We're up top hole, my friend. Top hole. Okay. So excellent. Well, when are we going to have a jam? We could do it on Zoom.
We could. There's a bit of a lag. There's a bit of a few seconds time difference that sort of mucks that sort of thing up.
Does it? But see, I could hold my hand up like that and say, like, this is how I hold the chord, and you just put your finger on here. It's not a major. It's a major major ninth.
The-
Yeah, because see, sorry.
I was going to say, a lot of the clips that I've seen you performing, you've got a beautiful Guild acoustic. Is there a story behind that guitar? Because a lot of stories that come from it.
They flaming sent 20 over to Australia, right? This is back in the 80s, the late 80s, 88. They sent 20 of them over as prototypes from America, right? And they had Fairlight pickups in them. So there was a little crystal under each string. And they said, because I got a really good review, Bruce Elder in the Sydney Morning Herald gave me a review, and oh God, it went bloody viral, as they say today. But anyway, I wound up with this guitar, and I said, now if you play it on stage and wear the Guild T-shirt for 6 months, we'll give you the guitar at half the price. Which means they're still making a bloody profit on it. It's a bit like Bunnings. So I didn't play for 6 months, Greg, so I didn't have to bloody worry about it, did I? But I forgot to put a lump of bloody gaff tape over the bloody sign, so every bugger knows it's an old Guild. But they're a good chord guitar. Like, they're not too hot on the lead playing, but they're a really good chord guitar. They got beautiful sound. And by the way, that was, yeah, I can tell you a big story about that too. It was in rehab for a long time, and yeah, it got busted coming back from Heathrow Airport.
Right.
2-inch bloody lump of down the bottom of it. And they said that the airline said that I broke it myself. I said, no, I bloody did not. I put it on and it was bloody perfect with the strings bloody detuned at Heathrow. And when I got back to Sydney, there's a bloody great big hole in it. She was a good one, 2 inches right across it. And they said, no, your insurance has got to cover that. And I said, no, you fellas broke it. Oh, no, you broke it. I said, well, okay, who's above you? And they put me onto the follow-up, the department above. And he come up with the same bloody thing. And I said, well, who's above you? And it kept going up the bloody thing in this airline. Anyway, I got to the top fella and I said, look, mate, I don't want to be pressure about this, but I'm walking on the stage before 9,000 people for the Year of Indigenous People in Sydney. Send some bugger along and see what I say. So I walked out on stage and I said, see this guitar here, this ain't mine. I said, I had to borrow this off Archie Roach out the back there. I hope it's tuned up. I said, but I was coming back from London, I said, and my guitar got busted. And I said, what's the name of that bloody airline? With the bloody red bloody roo on the arse end of it. He busted me guitar and he won't bloody fix it or pay me for it. Well, within the 24 hours, I had the bloke on the bloody blower. Yeah. So what happened was I sent it to Mayton. So one half is American birchwood on the top of it, spruce or whatever it is. The bottom half is Mayton guitar, Australian wood. So it's a bit of a schizophrenic old Guild now.
We'll finish up with one last question, Kev. What are you most proud of in your music career?
Oh, these young ones recording it and making it become theirs. Their interpretation, they've possessed it now. And to me, that's so positive. I can sit back here now, go jang, 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 and write another song. And I'm not going to get up on stage and go jang, jang or give it to a record company. These young ones know they can take it and do it themselves. Like integrate it into what they're doing. So it becomes, as I said before, ours and not, mine, I, me, individual stuff. Let's share stuff, for goodness sake. But look, it's been great. You're the first ever. We'll have to do it again sometime so we don't stuff it up. And I get used to this Zoom business.
It's been great to talk, Kev. It's really, really nice to meet you.
Oh, look, thanks so much.